Well, let's move on to the approval of the tonight's agenda. So, staff, anything to add or edit with tonight's agenda?
Yes, thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Two quick items. The first one is going to be to, so the consent item K and new business item A for the Ward 4 vacancy. Both of them mention dates for February 4th meetings, but we can't hold a February 3rd meeting, or they mentioned February 3rd meetings, but we can't hold a February 3rd meeting because of the precinct caucuses that are happening on February 3rd. And so we needed to adjust the dates of the first meeting in February to reflect that February 4th date on Wednesday instead. So for the consent item K, which is the meeting dates for 2026, we adjusted that in your council packet and are mentioning it here tonight to switch that date to February 4th, 2026. And then your Ward 4, or the Ward 4 item mentions the date that we would approve the resolution appointing a new board member. And so we switched that to February 4th as well. So just wanted to call those out. And then the next one would be to other business item A, the voucher request pending approval for disbursement. The council was provided the report earlier, and there's a printed copy, but just want to add that actual report to the agenda for tonight as well. And those are my updates for tonight.
Thank you, Jace. Council, anything to add? Edit with the agenda? Okay.
Nope. With those changes, I will move to approve tonight's agenda.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no or nay. All right, agenda approved. Next, we're going to move on to the consent agenda. Pursuant to council rules, one motion, non-debatable, will approve the recommendation noted. Any member of the council may ask for an item to be taken from the consent agenda for discussion and separate action. Such items removed from the consent agenda shall be considered immediately following the approval of the balance of tonight's agenda. Staff, anything to make note of on the consent agenda? Okay. Council, anything you'd like to pull from tonight's agenda?
No.
No. Okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll move to approve tonight's consent agenda.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Tonight's consent agenda has been approved. So what did we approve? We approved the city council meeting minutes from December 16th and November 12th, as well as December 9th, 2025. We approved the renewal of workers' compensation insurance for 2026. We approved the designation of depositories for city funds in 2026. We approved the authorization for credit cards. We accepted donations during the 2025 year from various individuals and businesses and organizations. Thank you very much. We authorized the payment of certain claims. We also approved the city's official newspaper. We approved the city clerk and deputy city clerk appointments. We've approved 2026 meeting dates. We have approved the records retention schedule. We have approved the elected official out-of-state travel policy, as well as the deputy registrar's appointment and deputy registrar's monthly financial statements. We also approved Robbinsdale Wine and Spirits monthly financial statements. We approved the affirmation of our fair housing policy, as well as our social media policy review. That's a lot to start the year off with. Okay. Next, we have presentations, which there are none. Next up after that is public hearings. So first order of business here for public hearings is permit. Looks like we got some quails coming to 4500 Orchard Avenue North.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. So brief history look back. You'll recall late summer, Council was given consideration towards updating city code prior to this most recent update. As we went through the fall, quails were not considered a permitted domestic animal or domestic pet. We will sometimes issue permits for chickens or ducks, some similar fowl. But until this request had come in, this is just something the city had never done. We went through the process to review code, ultimately council approved. So this is your first ever, as a council, consideration. To start at the end, what staff's recommendation is to conduct a public hearing, which you're required to do per code. After the public hearing, any comments that are received, consideration, including questions, comments, concerns for staff, would be happy to respond to. You do see some conditions based at the bottom there, again, outlined by code that was approved. Applicants are at 4500 Orchard Avenue North. They have submitted a domestic animal application requesting approval of 10 female quails and up to 2 males. Again, city code does require that person keeping or maintaining more than 2 quails must obtain a permit, and owners of all the persons keeping or maintaining notify properties within 200 feet. So this has been done as a part of the issuance. Staff's recommendation ultimately is for approval, but again, in order, staff recommends that council conduct a public hearing, take feedback, and share any questions, comments, or concerns with staff before approval, and then based on conditions provided to you, recommendation is for approval.
Great, thanks, Ted. Council, any questions or comments to make?
No, I think we had a pretty good conversation about this last time in our work session, so I feel good.
Yep, okay, great. Yeah, I know these aren't very disruptive animals. So do we have a motion to open the floor for public hearing?
Yeah, a motion to conduct a public hearing and take public comment.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. All right, public hearing is open. Any members of the public have anything to say about quails? All right, so far one thumbs up, so
Seeing none, I motion to close the public hearing.
And second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. All right, public hearing is closed. So after the hearing here, so we're going to consider the approval, right? So now we need a motion to approve. Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the request of 10 female quails and 2 males at 4500 Orchard Avenue North, subject to conditions 1 through 6 that we talked about earlier.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Okay, with that, history has been made. Quails are now residents of Robbinsdale. That's great. Well, congratulations on that. Moving on, we've got second item under public hearings, conditional retail cannabis business registration for Apex Strategy Group Incorporated, doing business as the Starlight Company.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. So again, this is a topic that the Council's been discussing really over the last couple of years as the legislature made updates to statute permitting this type of license. There's been some back and forth as to clarity and what process might ultimately look like. The most recent update provided goes forward with the understanding that OCM, or the Office of Cannabis Management, ultimately issues the license, but you as a city council have the authority to review under provisions that you have put forth in your code. You'll recall about in the last 18 months or so, you did update code with some contingencies, again, with the guidance of statute, some by way of distance, having to do with schools or otherwise, some having to do with total number within your town, which in Robbinsdale is limited to 2. An issue that we've had, not unique to Robbinsdale, is the OCM continues to work through their process to ultimately issue these licenses. The city's long had the understanding that we would give approval after a conditional license is provided through OCM. We're sort of stuck in a chicken and the egg situation, or quail and the egg situation, if you will, that they're hesitant to issue that license until the city gives zoning approval. So really what we're doing is following a pattern that some of our neighboring cities, and under guidance with our legal counsel, has agreed upon, approved conditional retail cannabis business registration for Apex Strategy Group based on the license being approved through OCM. So you are required to hold a public hearing here tonight. Would note that the application is for 4080 West Broadway, specifically Suite 17B. And again, staff does make a recommendation for approval as all the applicant's materials that we've requested have come in. And again, this would be conditional based on ultimate license approval through OCM.
Okay, thank you, Tim. Council, any questions or concerns?
I'll ask a question.
Councilmember Greenberg.
So just so I'm clear, because it's just make sure I'm understanding, given the process, we're essentially tackling the zoning piece to allow them to then go get the actual license that they need from OCM, which then will come back and they will get the register within Robbinsdale. this isn't the registration, or is it?
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Greenberg, so we would interpret this as a conditional approval for the registration.
Okay.
So after the license is fully executed, registration would be complete. I have all confidence that, again, in this working relationship through this application, that items won't get missed. Some of to cover or ensure any concerns or considerations that we have, those conditions are outlined through both your code and then statute. So while this is conditional at this point, once OCM issues that license, the registration we would consider complete.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Blackledge?
Good question.
Yeah. It's pretty straightforward to me. I have no questions. Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. Public hearing is open.
Hello,
Aye.
I'm Nicole Rash, and I am a cannabis attorney at Helmuth & Johnson, and my clients are Apex Strategy Group Incorporated. Unfortunately, they are not here tonight. They are based in Missouri, but they have plans to move up here once things are kind of starting to go. So they're very excited to be a community member. I'm just here to just kind of explain a little bit of the situation on why we're doing it this way. And I just want to thank everyone that has helped me get this far, as you guys have been very accommodating. And so OCM has changed the rules quite a bit. And so basically why we're doing it this way is that what happens is if you're waiting for OCM to actually have their license, then it's a race to the build out of who can do their build out quicker. And that could be problematic because you can spend, millions of dollars doing a build out without knowing or having that reassurance of a registration. And that feels unduly burdensome to the cannabis industry and community. And so I thought a way to be fair, and for a background, I track about 100 cities and counties on what their cannabis ordinances are. So I do look at this quite a bit. And I thought the most fair way would be to have some sort of kind of meeting like this. It would be conditional, but it would put our application essentially holding our spot in line for us to complete the build out. And then once, we'll be in communication with you in terms of zoning, compliance, any kind of permits, stuff like that. And then we will, once, we are finally there to submit our final plans of record, we will then make sure you guys get notified. That's when you guys do your 30-day OCM verification check. That's when that happens. Once we get the license, we will make sure to provide it to you guys, and then hopefully that would be the entire application. So it's just kind of approving most of it and our spot in line is kind of how this works. But I'm here to answer any questions that you guys may have. I do want to make a slight amendment to our application, which I will submit to you guys at some point. There was a clerical error. The suite number is actually 117A. Instead of 17B, apologies. And our lease also will have an amendment this week that I will submit to you with correcting that clerical error in our lease as well. But the address is the same.
Thank you. This actually sparked a question I had, and this is maybe more for staff, but feel free to answer if you have a perspective. Tim, I'm thinking about a situation in town where we have a certain store that is pending to open up for package delivery that hasn't opened, and I get questions about it once in a while. What if we get into a situation where, okay, we've gone through this approval, but it's taking longer than maybe we're comfortable with to get the store built? We have the ability to put somebody else in line. I mean, I know we still have 2 slots, right? So this is one of 2. Do we have the ability to walk things back? No offense, but you know how it goes.
None taken.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Council, I'd be happy to respond to any sets of questions or comments following the public hearing.
Okay. Sorry, Tim. Thank you.
I don't know if you would like me.
Yeah, yes,
okay.
please.
I don't know if this is directed to me as well, but just again, from my dealings and looking at a lot of different cities and counties, a lot of people that do this kind of conditional acceptance rather than going through a conditional use permit will have some sort of timeline of like 9 months, let's say.
Okay.
And, we would be in communication, and if there was any reason, that something's happening, you would know so that you are aware of what we're doing. But that way we're not just sitting on the application when there could be other potential clients that would be in there. I believe in being fair to everyone. And so that was my solution, at least, which I brought up, I believe, to Heather, but if I didn't, I meant to. So.
Okay. Well, that was probably more painfully obvious to others than it was to me. So thank you for that explanation.
Of course.
So I just have a quick question. Just as far as this seems relatively novel, like this is a way to sort of help move this along. Is this the first time this has happened in Minnesota, or is this pretty common as far as cities giving out the conditional approval?
Yes. And so what has happened is that because OCM kept changing their rules and it was quite confusing, they had this little, I called it the chutes and ladders chart. It really wasn't very clear, in my opinion, on how the actual steps would work. And then I worked with OCM actually on this to create a packet, or at least urge them to create a packet for you guys that would explain this more. I also don't think it was explained as well. So I think there's a lot of confusion in here, and it's harder to change all of your ordinances to kind of backdate. So a lot of cities have kind of gone this route if they're not doing a conditional use permit. As I don't think all the cities, and it wasn't any city's fault, they just weren't aware of how the orders of operation would actually work.
I've seen that, and it is very confusing.
It is actually really confusing, and I look at it all the time. It's not as clear as I would like it to be. Yeah. So that's kind of what happened. And so, again, I've been talking to a lot of cities, and they do this instead, or they have some kind of, which I don't like. I prefer it to be at city council, to be honest with you, rather than just kind of a written email yes, as it's kind of a little bit more public and kind of puts other people on notice as well. So I thought, again, in the interest of being fair, a city council public hearing would be the best option for Robbinsdale.
Sounds good. Okay. So this is happening in other cities?
Yes, I have yes. And then there's a lot happening in a lot of cities, actually. Again, with the rules not being very clear, with cannabis being a novel industry, people have opinions, it's political. And so I have a whole list that I call my naughty list of cities that are not actually following the rules. So we'll see how those pan out. But yes, okay. You guys have been incredible to work with. Actually, I do want to give a little shout out to Heather. She's been amazing. So I just want to thank you guys for that.
Great. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. Any other questions?
I guess just a very basic one. Is there any other businesses that this group currently holds as well too outside of Missouri?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Are there other businesses that this group also has outside of Missouri? Just in the sense of
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head. I believe that most of their businesses are in Missouri, and then this will be their first kind of venture into Minneapolis. However, I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. Okay. But they're eager to be in Minneapolis, and they're very excited to be a part of community events, and would hope to be to know about the invites and stuff. So let us know, please.
Okay.
Great. Awesome. Any other questions?
No.
Any other things you'd like to offer up as nuggets to consider?
I don't, honestly, I think I hit all the points, but I do want to just kind of throw this out there that I would love to still be a reference, anything that I can do to help, guide anyone through this process, as it has been very confusing. So anything as you guys are continuing to kind of navigate my client's application or others, please feel free to reach out.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other members of the public have comments or questions?
Seeing none, I'll move to close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. Public hearing is closed. Tim, anything that you'd like to expand upon beyond what was explained?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. First item, if I'm understanding, please correct me if I'm wrong, in a hypothetical situation, whether by distance for a potential second, maybe even in a hypothetical third application were to come in. As you noted, Robbinsdale did adopt ordinance that states that based on statute, we're allowed to limit per 12,500. So every person over that requires an additional, meaning that Robbinsdale is capped at 2. My understanding of what you're asking is if a second and then potential third business were to come in, what happens to the one that's waiting in line? I think in that situation, what we would do, we would continue to work with the applicant if we feel that, much like other applications pending, whether at the state level or otherwise, is doing their due diligence, working in good faith, we would bring that to the attention of council. If we have concerns otherwise, we would share that concern. As the applicant noted, Ms. Rand does get calls, does get questions about what our process is like. I think to Councilmember Greenberg's suggestion or question, what's going on in other communities is not unique to Robbinsdale, that there are applicants looking for spaces, and for all things to line up, it's taking a lot of work. An applicant first has to have interest, then has to find a space. That may mean finding a lease or purchasing a facility. From there, acquiring appropriate insurance, et cetera, during the build out. A lot needs to go into this. So there is a lot more for this process than we've seen otherwise. I don't want to say that they're the same, but licensure by way of liquor, licensure by way of tobacco, but similar in that we treat them through code with certain provisions. Ultimately, all that said, as long as the applicant that we do grant this to, or may grant this to, based on conditions suggested, if there is a concern after a second is approved by council, we would certainly have those conversations and give direction one way or another, or I shouldn't say direction, our recommendation one way or another. I'd also note, direct to Councilmember Greenberg's question, yes, there are other cities doing it just this way, again with the uncertainty, but wanting to be able to provide more confidence in next steps for applicants. I think the biggest thing, well, maybe not the biggest, but one of the biggest things noted, just cost, the investment that some of these organizations have to make this happen, the uncertainty as to whether or not a city would consider that. This conditional approach gives a bit more reassurance to move forward.
Thanks, Tim. Any other questions or comments in light of that? Okay. Well, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the conditional retail cannabis business registration for Apex Strategy Group, Inc., doing business as Starlight Company.
And would that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt that, but that would be pending the amendment. Do we need to memorialize that?
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, I missed
Well,
the
there's an
question.
amendment that needs to be made from suite
Yes.
to suite 117A. Do we need
Or
to include that in the
17A.
motion? Am I just being too technical right now?
No, Mr. Mayor, Council, I think that's a great question. I would say, if comfortable with the person making the motion, under the amendment proposed by the applicant, if staff finds that there is more or other considerations, we'll bring it back to council
Okay.
for consideration.
Okay.
Sorry to.
No, you're good. That was a good call.
Great catch.
Yeah. So, did I make the motion? I'm good? Okay.
Second.
All right, I'll consider the motion made and seconded. Thank you very much, gentlemen. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Okay, congratulations. That has been approved. Next on the agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
So, under old business, we've got nothing. Under new business, Ward 4 City Council vacancy.
Mr. Mayor, Council, before you on this item, we're asking for two formal actions. First, to adopt a resolution declaring a vacancy on the City Council, and then to second, set a special meeting to determine any date or dates for council members to interview candidates. A bit of history, Councilmember Wagner provided an announcement that he would be giving his resignation. This was effective, provided the resolution is adopted effective January 5th, or yesterday. Following 3 years of service to Ward 4, we certainly appreciate the service that Councilmember Wagner gave to the council, but your charter does require that you formally adopt a resolution declaring that vacancy. As a part of that, you are required to, within 30 days, go through a process and ultimately appoint somebody. I would remind folks that this is relatively new to the city council, not something that the city's done. Prior to about 18 months ago, the city charter outlined a process for a special election, really in any circumstance for a vacancy. The city charter has since been updated that calls for the appointment process, which really follows guidance that statutory cities or non-city charter cities go through for something like this. So again, a 4-year term, if less than 2 years exist on that term, you as a council are able to appoint somebody. The Charter Commission made recommendation to council. Council ultimately approved that process. And again, for your consideration here tonight. So assuming a resolution is adopted, the second part that we'd like to talk about and get a little bit of guidance from you as a council, staff is recommending going through a process first by setting a date. A date would essentially give us an opportunity to work backwards, including what a time frame for application will look like. You can see on your, as a part of your packet item here, on the page after the resolution, staff has put together, big thanks to the city clerk, an application for appointment. Really, this is something that makes sure that we qualify, they hit all the marks, all the standards that are required to serve as a council member. That includes being a qualified voter in the state of Minnesota, must be 21 years of age, must be a resident of Ward 4 for at least 30 days, and have no other affidavit as a candidate. With that application, we are going to recommend that any applicants provide what we're calling a letter of interest. Really what that does for us is it sets up for the interview process something for council to be prepared for. We'll propose, a set of questions to ask as a part of that, but hopefully that will have you feeling at least prepared if it's somebody that you're not familiar with, including services to the community. So again, really looking for adoption on the first item, and then discussion from council. Certainly happy to respond to questions, comments, or concerns as to what the process will look like. Ultimately, with the goal of, by resolution, appointing a new Ward 4 council member at the February 4th, 2026 council meeting.
Okay. Any questions or comments before we make the first motion to announce the council vacancy and appoint a resolution?
I'm good.
Okay. Can I have a motion?
Yeah, a motion to adopt the resolution declaring a vacancy in the city council and asking the council to determine process to appoint the Ward 4 seat for the remaining term.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. Okay, so that has been officially adopted. Next is the appointment application, so we need to discuss dates, right, and the process.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Council, again, just to clarify, the formal action will be to set the date. Before you go forward with setting the date, if you do have questions, recommendations, things for us to adjust by way of what the process looks like, again, being the first time through, staff put this together. There are some provisions with the charter that we certainly have to follow, statute as well, but these are our recommendations for the things you want to adjust. Certainly if you have questions, both the clerk and myself are here to respond, but the formal action will be to set that date. So we can have a discussion prior to and then ultimately setting that interview date.
Great. Thanks, Tim. Council.
So we're setting the February 4th date, and then everything else happens from there, or are we?
I think we're setting the
Setting that
Special
date to which we're going to decide who the person is.
Okay.
I'll just go first and say that all of those dates but the 22nd do not work for me, so the 22nd would be ideal. Otherwise, I'll have to come in virtually. But also, I will comment that staff had a nice idea that it would be good to get the decision out of the way early, so that the individual has time to kind of get their arms around the position and hit the ground running, right? Because we would appoint them on the 4th, and then they would assume the position on the 4th.
That's correct, yep.
Okay. So I think it would be good to have that done and dusted as soon as we could.
22nd will work for me. We take into consideration Councilmember Parisian as well too.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Blackledge, great point. We did confirm with Councilmember Parisian ahead of time, not to subvert the process, but we put all these dates in front of her. All would work. We did note the suggestion of starting at 5 p.m. just in case there's a stack to get through. That would be a good starting time for her. If the 22nd works later for council members, I wouldn't suggest going too late. Again, not knowing how many interviews it might have, but to Councilmember Blackledge's question, excuse me, all the dates provided in the memo would work for Councilmember Parisian.
I believe that, so you've got calendars to consider, right, from getting to and from work, don't you?
Yeah, I'm looking right now, so yeah, I can make that work. I can make 5 work.
5 can work?
5 works for me, yeah.
All right.
So I have an event that night, the 22nd, but it's
Okay.
not like urgent. So I think I'm gonna put this as a priority over that. And
Okay.
since that's the date that works for everyone else, I'll make it work.
Will a later time give you the opportunity to do both? Because yeah. If
Maybe
have
like at
commitments
10
prior
p.m.
to-
You can all get together, yeah.
Okay, well,
Not 10 p.m., but the event goes from 5:30 to 8. So maybe if I was here at 6:30,
okay.
6:30?
6:30.
You want to start
would
at
that
6:30?
work? Is that too late?
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Greenberg, that's entirely up to you guys. It's hard to predict how long we'll go. It depends on the number of applicants.
Right. Well, that would allow me to do everything. So maybe let's.
I think if you already made a prior commitment, let's honor that too. And I think we'll,
Listen, I can make that work.
yeah.
Okay.
So 6:30 p.m.
Yeah.
on the
do
22nd.
6:30.
That's dedication right there, folks. All right. All right, with that out of the way, any questions from council on the process or? I mean, there's no rubric by which we're working by, right? And so this is,
I guess one question would be for the candidates, like, are there questions ahead of time that we would provide for them to be able to answer, or is it more of as they sit in the space and we?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Blackledge, what staff would recommend is we would provide you sort of a high-level 3-4 questions. Really, the intention is to be conversational. Maybe we set up a parameter of 30 minutes or so. Again, depending on the number of applicants, the goal would be to get to know them, better understand not position but awareness on issues of the city, and then certainly the role of a council member. Ultimately, it is council's decision on the appointment, so anything that you would want to ask, you'd certainly be welcome to. I say that within reason, but of course the questions asked would be up to you. So we would give you sort of a form to work off of, and you'd be able to be fluid with that.
this actually brings up a good question for me. I think of the case of a job interview, there's just certain questions you just cannot ask. Do those same questions apply? Not that we're looking to, but how things can slip. You got to be mindful about how you ask questions. And so we're talking the same situation here.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I think that's a reasonable assumption.
Okay, good. I mean, I'm glad to hear that. So, what if the situation arises that none of the candidates are accepted by council?
Good question.
Like we only get one. It's like, well,
Mr. Mayor, Council, I guess it's a good legal question. Again, the charter requires you to, within 30 days of declaring a vacancy, to fill that spot. If following the interview process the evening of the 22nd, you could give staff direction to solicit again. That certainly makes it a tight window. How we would proceed if there are special circumstances, a good legalese question. Staff can certainly prepare for that ahead of time, but I guess I'm not at this point prepared to offer a response formally as to what qualifies for an extension.
okay. And it's 3/5. Oh no, I'm sorry. What if there's a split decision? What if it's 2 and 2?
We'll have to figure something out. Yeah.
Wrestle for it. Okay. All right.
All good
Well,
questions. This is a new process, so I think there's some learning as we go too. So we'll ask for some grace in this space.
okay. Take me out of the hot seat. Well,
I think I feel pretty comfortable with the process.
okay. Well, in that case, motion.
So do we make a motion to set the special meeting?
22nd at 6:30. Yep.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to set our special meeting for interviews on January 22nd at 6:30 p.m.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. Okay. 22nd, 6:30 p.m. Next, on to new business, item B, commissioner appointments.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. So this is in your theme of annual updates. A lot fall onto the consent agenda. We do want to call a couple of items out here. Each commission, planning, parks, human rights, senior, and charter, do have a bit of different guidance by way of either the charter and or city code as to how those terms and positions are filled. The planning commission, those seats expire on December 31st of even years. The PRF expire on December 31st on even years as well. HRC commission members run concurrent with the mayor. Senior commission members are staggered with 4-year terms expiring in even years and 3-year terms expiring in odd years. Currently, I do want to note that we only have 3 seated members. It's a group that we continue to solicit for. Winter time, for a few reasons, is a bit harder to keep that one full up. And then the Charter Commission has a bit more rigorous process. Ultimately, those commissioners being appointed by the Chief Judge of Hennepin County. With that, the upcoming expiration of commissioners on their seats are for Jeff Mueller, Kelly, and Jonathan in March. Those are the first 2 are in February. Jonathan in March and Patrick in July of 2026. As those come up, they would again go through that process as noted with the Hennepin County Judge, but you have no formal appointments here tonight. We just wanted to be sure to call that out in front of you.
Okay. Council, any questions?
As far as the voting for Patrick, and then he's on Mr. Nealon, he's on both commissions, Human Rights and Charter Commission, is there anything that we do right now as far as saying, yay, he can continue on both, or is that later on as things change?
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Blackledge, so I think if I'm understanding the question, there's no issue with conflict of being on both. As far as reappointment, again, that would go through the process with the Hennepin County Judge, so we don't have any concerns at this point. It is something, as we go into an even year, wasn't looking to spend a ton of time on this tonight, but we have talked about a little bit in the years past to have things either be a bit more uniform or to have some of the commissions line up, both by, I should say, not just by membership, but by some rules, some operational procedures, staggering a few things to ensure consistency. So to shore a bit more up, I think, of what you're asking, if we could address through code down the road, something we would certainly want to do by maybe summer or fall, so it's good for end of year end. But at this point, to your question specifically, we have no concerns.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so you're not looking for a recommendation or motion, so we can move on? Yep. All right. Well, then let's move on. Let's go on to item C, contract for professional services for the design and bidding assistance for the proposed Tower 2 project 54824.
Mr. Mayor, council members, good evening and Happy New Year.
Good evening.
Happy New Year. Good evening.
Let me find my report here. So part of the 2026 capital improvement plan is the construction of a new water tower 2. The idea is that this structure will replace the old obsolete Tower 2, which is down there behind North Memorial, kind of wedged in there between the Oakdale Medical buildings and the parking stations or parking structures that are down there. It's proposed that the new Tower 2 would be somewhere between 750,000 and 1 million gallons in size. It's going to be in the same general vicinity down in that kind of area. The new tower is necessary because when we constructed the new Tower 1, we built it 30 feet taller than the old towers to address some pressure issues we were having in the 4th Ward. 4th Ward's got the highest part of the town and the lowest part of the town in it, and we wanted to improve the minimum pressures at the highest part. Also, knowing that the City Council is looking for opportunities to get alternate funding for some of the projects that we have listed in our CIP, staff applied to the Public Facilities Authority, which is the same group that gave us the low interest grant for the treatment plant and the new Tower 1. And after they did all their scoring, they told us that our Tower 2 project scored highly enough to be considered in the fundable range. So that's a good thing, because that means we're eligible for a low interest loan on that structure. The caveat to that is, in order to take advantage of that situation, is we have to have designs to the Department of Health by March of this year. So we're kind of got to pull our thumb out and get stuff done. So staff sought a proposal from the same consultant that has been involved with our water treatment plant and our Tower 1. Staff feel that the background that they have on our system, the familiarity they have with our system is ideal. They also have a good handle on the hydraulic modelling of our entire system, and they've been integral with the way our systems have been tied together with our new SCADA system. So it makes them ideal to tackle this project efficiently without the lag time that if we went out and got a new consultant would have to go through just to get to kind of level 1. So given the tight time frame that we have for this design, those issues are critical. The proposal that we received is based on hourly rates, but with a not to exceed amount. What we sought was a proposal to do the design for the new structure and help with the bidding process. You should note that there would be additional proposal for the construction management, so someone standing out there making sure that the construction is done properly, and that will be dealt with before we get to the construction stage of things. The proposed fee, as listed in the report, is $198,140. If council members are interested, I do have a copy of that proposal here if anybody wanted to have a look through it. If not, I'll just...
send it up, yeah, I'd love to see it.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I would note is the engineer is bringing up, this was sent out to you on Friday as a part of your packet.
Okay, great. Sorry, I missed it.
Very good. Nope, I think I've given you my report too, John. No, I haven't given you a report. That's good. At the request of staff, we also included an alternate for the inclusion of coloured dimmable pedestal lights on this tower. Not the big bright ones that light up the bowl, but just the coloured ones that go up the pedestal. So if that's something that City Council would be interested in, there is an additional fee for that element of the work, and that's under $15,000 to do that. The other thing that's not included in the scope as presented to you tonight is an interference study of the proposed new structure. Because it is 30 foot taller and it is in the vicinity of the existing monopole that is down by the old tower, we think it's prudent to get a study done to investigate any interference of the antenna that are already on that monopole, so that we can make sure that we develop solutions should they be necessary, should interference be found. We're in the process of seeking a proposal for that study, and I'll bring that back to City Council when I have that. So the price that's outlined in the proposal, I consider that to be acceptable and within expectation for the work being sought, and I recommend approval of the proposal. And I also recommend that discussion and consideration for the alternate for the inclusion of the decorative lights also take place.
Council, any questions or comments?
I have a question.
Yes, Councilmember Greenberg.
So I very much appreciate the information and the context of working with the same firm. I'm just curious, did we get pricing from other companies?
No, given the Councilmember Greenberg, given the timing of the notification of the advice that we received that we were eligible for funding, including the deadline of March, we didn't have time to pull together a proposal and go out to the broader engineering field for that.
I think, Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Greenberg, if I could add on, I don't have the dates in front of me. Richard, could you confirm? We received formal response that we were eligible like mid-December, if it sounds right. From there, for us to design a request or a proposal to get fees, I would say at least 6 to 8 weeks. That puts us at the end of February, which means a March deadline for application wouldn't work. To Richard's point, to put it into perspective of dates, we could certainly provide those dates to you. To do, as you can see as a part of the contract, a 3-month process requires 3 months, and if we were to not be able to start that till February, we wouldn't be eligible for the PFA process.
Okay. When we talk about so I guess from that perspective, the overall cost of the project is in the millions. And we're talking about being able to access a loan that would be at 1% is what it mentions here.
The water treatment plant was a loan of 1%.
So we think it'll probably be in that ballpark, but
will be in that
lower
ballpark.
than what we would get if
A
we.
lot lower than if we had to go out for utility bonds or anything like that.
And so I guess one other way to look at it, or that I'm just trying to think of it, is that we could, even though we didn't go out to bid and get all of these different proposals, which we were still going to be under a tight timeline, I mean, it just wouldn't be feasible. But outside of that, knowing that if we got this done within the window, I mean, the savings is going to be more than whatever the difference would potentially be between different firms, because even if it's cheaper, which is important, it's not going to be so much cheaper that it wouldn't be worth getting this special loan.
And again, Councilmember Greenberg, just bear in mind that professional services, you don't have to take the low bid. And I would caution taking low bid on professional services. When we review professional services, we look at a broad range of elements, and price is one of them for sure, but it's not the only thing that we look at. Okay. Because sometimes with professional services, you get what you pay for.
Okay. I mean, and that makes sense, and I appreciate that perspective as well. So yeah, I mean, again, I'm just thinking of it as like just trying to be as prudent as possible. And when we think about budgets and we think, it's like, okay, well, I could see as from a resident standpoint, like, wait, you didn't put it out to bid, but then the flip side of that is that we're going to be in this program that will allow us to get a much more advantageous rate that would.
One thing I'll say, Councilmember Greenberg, is when we went through the process with the water treatment plant and the wells and Tower 1, we went through an extensive process.
Okay.
Like, it was 3 parts. We had folks submit their proposals. We brought all of those companies in and we interviewed them. And then what we did was drive around the state, look at different jobs that they had done, and ask the operators about how it went and what they thought about it. We went through an extensive process at that stage.
Okay, that's also very helpful to know, because I wasn't on the council for that. So that is actually very important. So I really appreciate that. Thank you. That answers my questions. Yes, Tim. Sorry.
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Greenberg, if I could follow up to something that Mr. McCoy noted in his memo to you. While difficult to quantify by way of a dollar amount, The other efficiency that we're going to gain is that they know the system. As he noted when they went through the process, both with the water treatment plant and for Water Tower 1, they have a heap of this information, that they have experts, not just in the field, but on our materials. So that efficiency gain there, that doesn't have to be produced again, gone through and examined again. That cost savings, again, we can't quantify. We can certainly make a guess, but that's also an additional saving that we see here.
Yeah, okay. If it's not appropriate to make that estimation, then I wouldn't expect you to, but if we can have some idea, just, again, I'm thinking of like if a resident comes up and asks, like, hey, we didn't put this out to bid. Well, okay, it's really important to understand that when we did other work with them, we did a ton in learning about other firms and bids and all that stuff. That's really important. The efficiencies gained through the knowledge of the system, if that's quantifiable, great. And then also the fact that we're going to have an advantageous loan or, essentially get a much lower rate. Those are all good things that I feel like, okay, I feel much more comfortable with this. So that's all very helpful, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
I would agree with Councilmember Greenberg. I'm just thinking about when I put a sales proposal out, I have this is what we're asking, this is the ROI, this is the cost of doing nothing. Those things would really help just me, both as mayor, but also, I'm sure residents who are sitting here just to understand, right? So I have a question. And I'm not intimating anything here, but is this like a once in a lifetime opportunity, or do these, like, you put these things out, you get awarded this qualification, like if we didn't take it this year, like is it gone forever, or is it we reapply next year, or how does that work?
Mr. Mayor, Council, I'll start. Mr. McCoy, certainly feel free to fill in. The short answer is I don't know. Part of it has to do with it's very competitive. Candidly, and Richard, correct me if I'm wrong, I was a little surprised we qualified. It's a very competitive process. I think part of to the legitimate concerns that are being shared as to this tight time frame, if we thought that we would be this strong of an applicant this time around, this is something that we would have had maybe prepared a bit earlier for. And maybe saying surprise is a bit strong, but Richard, I'm not sure where you're at with it. When I heard the news that we were this competitive this time around, I was surprised. Now, that's not to say the next round of funding we're not available for. Again, the short answer is I don't know. It depends on what comes in, but as the infrastructure continues to grow in cost, we're going to see more applicants. It's going to be more competitive. It depends on the funding at the state level. But again, I would say I was surprised. I'm not sure your feelings.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, council members, the application we had for the water treatment plant in the first tower, that was open as air. Like we were so high up the ratings because our infrastructure was so old that we scored really, really highly. And honestly, we could put that application in whatever year we wanted and we still would have scored highly. City manager is correct that we're a little surprised that we actually qualified for the funding range for this project. I had been talking to the finance director over the past year saying, look, dear, it's a waste of time me applying for this because we're not going to get the money. Well, there you go. You've got to be in it to win it. We were in the eligible funding range, but we were like 3 to last. So to the city manager's point, as things get more competitive, if we defer this for a year or two, we may not even get onto that fundable range. And it fluctuates from year to year because the amount that's available varies. Some years there's more than others. So it's a gamble, it's a risk that if we didn't go with it at the moment, we may not have the opportunity again.
And just for the sake of saying it out loud, this tower needs to be built, right?
Mr. Mayor, in my opinion, it does. As we embarked on this process of big ticket items, if you like to call it that, of our water infrastructure, it has always been the plan that we go back to 2 towers. It's good to have 2 towers because if one tower needs maintenance, you've got the other tower to run the city while it's out. If you've got just one tower, then it becomes kind of very challenging to operate the system without having your tower. You've got to control it from the water treatment plant, which means that you've virtually got somebody there constantly gauging what the pressures are and how much the pumping the water, how much water should go out to maintain the pressure. It's kind of a fly by the seat of your pants arrangement.
Right, and there's been situations where maybe a tower has failed, right, not here in Robbinsdale, but that would be catastrophic. And
We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Tower
wanna
failures
will it
would be
into
catastrophic.
existence, but I know
So having two gives you some degree of redundancy in that.
and having two is not new news for Robbinsdale. No.
No, not at all.
As far as funding goes, we anticipated that this year in the budget, or is this like a new line item that we need to take on and show?
No, it was in the budget for this year.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm hearing that we have an opportunity to take advantage of a low interest loan. We've won something that we were surprised and caught off guard, so it's coming up early. We're working with a professional services firm that has a good track record and one that we've worked with in the past. I know I don't have experience with them, but this staff does, and previous council did. So, the lights. Any thought on the lights?
Well, so can I ask one more question
Yes.
about the water tower? Because we definitely want to talk about the lights. Just as far as the Tower 2 is currently offline.
Yes.
Okay. And because it's not functional. Or
Because of the new level of Tower 1, the old Tower 1 and the old Tower 2 are 30 feet lower than that. If I tried to fill up any of those towers, they'd overflow.
Oh, got it. Okay. So yeah, that tells me all I need to know.
Okay. Yeah, but the hospital coming online,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah. Yep.
okay.
So the lights.
The lights, yeah. So I'm trying to think of we don't know where the spot's going to be right now, right? We don't know exactly where the spot will be right now for the water tower.
Well, Council had previously provided me with advice on the
Yeah,
ideal
I'm just saying we
location,
haven't
and
made a
that
decision.
is still being worked upon.
Okay. Yeah. So I know with the last water tower, the lights were beautiful, but it was a distraction for the residents. That's the only thing I'm concerned about. If it's going to be more of an annoyance for the residents, then I'm not on board with that. I can't picture in my mind's eye how visible that would be for residents. So
I mean, there are some homes around there, but if I'm thinking of the same area that we had talked about, it's like there's the hospital.
yeah, it's already like glowing.
Yeah, there's a lot of light around there. I guess,
To add,
I mean, it seems sort of, I hope it's not a dumb question, but like, what's the benefit of the lights on the pedestal?
It just looks cool.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Okay.
And it gives the city the opportunity to, put lights on the pedestal for certain things during the year.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the idea of beautification. So
Yeah.
I mean, one thing to consider is if City Council was to approve the design of it, doesn't mean you have to go ahead and build it.
Right.
Or you could build it up to a point but not fully build it, so that the conduits were there and the various things that were in place to get into the slab at the bottom of the tower, but you may not just implement the poles and the lights. I mean, you can get off that road at various points along the way.
My only thought is just like, again, getting back to thinking about budgets and money, and I recognize that these numbers are relatively small. I mean, the additional fee for designing this is very small. But the idea that the other water tower, Tower 1, is totally functional. It looks nice during the day. We don't light it up at night, and that's been fine. I just am wondering, I mean, I guess one question that I would have, and I know you can't give exact numbers, but adding lights to the pedestal, if we did that on Tower 2, is that hundreds of thousands of dollars? Is that millions of dollars?
No.
It's
Councilmember Greenberg, my guess is less than $100,000.
Okay, so it's, even that is still very reasonable in the context of a project of this size. I mean, reasonable, it isn't a large addition,
Percentage-wise, it is fairly minimal.
very small. Right, okay. I mean, that is something that does look nice, but is it necessary? And I guess that's something to think about.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, you know, for $100,000, like, could you push that at, like, lighting up downtown streets during the holidays, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Well, you know,
sorry, I'm getting in the weeds on
No,
these
no.
lights, but.
No, I mean, it's like the conversation we need to have, I think.
It's a good question. It's a conversation. And I think part of what I'm hearing as well too is that there's an opportunity to, like, if it doesn't make sense for us to pursue the lights, at least there's points where if you can jump off or shift or change or not say I not commit to this as well too. But I do recognize like the beautification and thinking about how do we continue to elevate and change and make Robbinsdale a really amazing place. Does that add to that? And that's the question.
Move the lights.
That's the question to ask.
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah,
Ask a good question. I don't know.
Well, I think it makes sense to at least see, like, get the spec'd out if we can get off the road,
Yeah,
right? So
I think it makes sense to include that.
All right.
Is that up direction?
We need to make a motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have other questions?
I don't.
Other questions?
I think you asked good questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to approve the professional services proposal for design and bidding services for the proposed new Tower 2 as provided by AE2S in their submission dated the 30th of December 2025 for the amount not to exceed $198,140, and also for the decorative pedestal lighting in the design of the new tower, or consideration to the alternate to include. We would like to include the decorative pedestal lighting in the design of the new tower for the amount not to exceed $14,192. Sorry. Chase, thank you for editing that in the end.
Was that a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Approved. Thanks, Richard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Other business, voucher request pending approval for disbursement. Staff, anything to add? Nope. No. Questions from council? Okay, is there a motion?
Yeah. A motion to approve disbursement request for the period ending in 1/6/2026.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Approved. Administrative reports.
I guess I have one quick update for tonight. I just want to note that Republic did not pick up Christmas trees today. If residents had requested them to be picked up today, the reason is because of inclement weather and particularly icy roads and just safety concerns for their drivers. And they wanted to prioritize picking up the normal trash and recycling. And so that's what got picked up today. And so anyone that did have a Christmas tree that wasn't collected today, that will be on their schedule for tomorrow to be collected. So that is my only update for tonight.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Council, two quick updates from me. First off, my Happy New Year to all. As we're in the start of the year, look forward to 2026. Want to share out a couple updates. The HRC, again, with a couple other organizations, is hosting an MLK breakfast with Elam. That's the 19th of January. We'll have some registration information available in the Birdtown Brief and on our city website. I want to share out that the EV charger at LVT is now live. I haven't been getting daily updates, but I think I heard in the first 36 hours we had 19 uses. So there was question as to whether or not it would get use. That's off to a fantastic start. Do want to reiterate a big council item tonight. For those that have questions about the process, including whether they may or may not want to apply for the Ward 4 vacancy, we will continue to, in the next couple of weeks, share out what that information looks like. But certainly if you have any questions, please reach out to City Hall. That's the easiest way we can set you on the right track. Call, email, stop by. We're always happy to provide updates. So if you have questions about what that process looks like, please reach out. Of course, we'll share out in our social media and regular communication updates. And again, with the start of the year, we'll have some renewal of a few programs that we have done in years past, including the home energy squad visits, the CE&E loans, the water efficiency rebate program. And then the last thing they want to share out, and it got some nice social media attention, not just on our page, but otherwise, Grazier Park officially was registered on the National Register of Historic Places.
That's great.
Super cool. This is a process that we've been working with MnDOT on for the last several years. But I really want to call out both the maintenance, upkeep, getting attention for. That was largely done by community volunteers. The city's been doing some kind of background legalese, access things. Eventually the property would be fully conveyed to us from MnDOT. And it was a collaborative effort, but a shout out a lot to a number of the Lions, but community volunteers, including the Historical Society, really got the attention. It's been a years-long process. I appreciate this kind of thing. Even if you don't, that's very significant to get onto that register. So kudos to all the people that made that happen. We certainly look forward to, as the conveyance comes full on, to do a celebration, including with council, as early as this summer, and we'll continue to share that information out.
Excellent. Thanks, Tim. Thank you. All right. Council General Communications. If you guys don't mind, I'm gonna kick it off.
Oh,
Is that all right? Okay.
yeah.
For starters, Happy New Year. Excited for the 2026 year ahead. And this is really kind of just a quick item, but Chase, maybe you know, or Tim, you know. I actually got a notification from one of our members, our residents, who is actually here tonight, that she signed up to get notifications for city meetings, and they seem to be coming after the meeting has taken place. Do you know, is there, like, I haven't gone through this process, but if somebody wanted to get an update, like, hey, there's all these different meetings that are coming up, is it incumbent on them to monitor the agenda, or is there some type of notification mechanism that we utilize that maybe needs to be looked at?
Mr. Mayor, Council, I do know we do have that. I sign up just to ensure that it's working properly. To be perfectly honest, with the abundance of emails that come through my inbox that maybe haven't monitored the last couple, I know typically almost simultaneously when the city clerk or otherwise posts the agenda online, that email comes through to my inbox. That said, we'll jump into it this week and take a look and see what's going on if it's suggesting that that's not happening.
Yeah, I wonder, and that's what's been your experience, Kelly. I'm sorry to call you out all the way on the other side of the room, but right?
Yeah, I actually got one sitting here for this one 6 minutes after it started.
Okay. So, all right.
And they're coming in all the time.
Okay. Well, if we could look into that, that'd be great.
Thank you.
So, yeah. Other than that, sorry to stage jump you, but no, it's good. Go ahead, Councilmember Blackledge. Anything you'd like to?
Yeah, Happy New Year to all as well. Thank you for acknowledging some of the events coming up for MLK Day. Just continue to say, hey, get out and learn, and continue to be a part of the community events happening all over the Twin Cities and across the way. Also want to just acknowledge I was able to attend the RPD Reserves Dinner, and if you know what that is, those are people in our community who volunteer their time to help support the Robbinsdale Police Department. And just as a highlight from 2025, they had 1,300 hours of volunteer service that they had between the 6 to 8 of those who are in part of the reserve. So I know they also may give a quick plug that they're also looking for more reserves as well too. So if something that's interesting to you to help the community out in times of need, or just to be able to be a smiling face in any event, please do apply and check it out on our website. You can find that information. And outside of that, as we are in this winter season, like, let's be mindful, move your cars as snow comes. I know it's a hard thing sometimes, but it's an easy reminder to say, hey, if we can, let's move our cars so we can get things plowed out. I had a few people reach out to me about cars not being moved, and this be thoughtful for your neighbors as well too. If you need support in that, just reach out. We can figure something out for you. Outside of that, look forward to another year. And those of you who are interested in Ward 4 for joining the council, please do. We have a fun time, good time. A lot of hard work, late nights, but it's worth it. So hope to see a lot of applicants. You were up.
I get to close.
Yeah,
it out.
yeah, if you want to.
Exciting. Well, I certainly want to wish everyone a happy new year, and I'm excited for 2026. I did want to specifically call out because I will be attending on January 19th the MLK Day breakfast at Elam. So thank you for everyone that's mentioned it. But we will be in attendance, so I'm excited to see Robbinsdale residents there. And thanks to the Human Rights Commission for working with the other groups to pull that together and have it in Robbinsdale.
That being said, I also plan to attend, so I don't know if we need to make a public
I'll be
notice.
there.
We can do
but-
that.
so, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
We have quorum. All right, well, with that, is there a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Meeting adjourned.